Hi friends, Lindsay here from Luxe Leather Revival. After I unboxed this small puzzle bag from Loewe, I heard from several of you that you'd be interested in knowing how I would clean it up and see the after. So here is how it looks afterwards. I will bring it a little closer to the camera and give it a spin and move the twilly out of the way so you can see the side, the back, the other side, and the bottom. Okay, so what did I do? I first of all took my handy dandy, one of my favorite tools in my kit is the Lexol cleaning wipes. And so these not only clean surface dirt off, like we had, I believe it was on this side, someone had spilled something, there was white residue here, that is now clearly gone. So as I was saying, this not only will clean off the dirt, but it also gives a little bit moisture back into the leather. So these are fantastic. I use them on pretty much every pre-loved bag I buy, which almost all of my bags are pre-loved except for one. Then I conditioned it with Saphir Creme Universelle. So this is the exact conditioner that Hermes uses in their spa, from what I've heard from very reputable sources, and I love it. I use it on vintage Coach bags, I use it on my luxury bags, pebbled leather, grain leather, you name it. However, when it comes to specialized leather like lambskin, which is also known as Napa, or ostrich, I have a completely separate thing. Let me actually grab it real quick. It is also Saphir, but it comes in this glass container with a metal top, and it says Napa right there. So this conditioner I have used on my lambskin handbags and one of my ostrich bags so far, and I can tell you, using this conditioner for leather feels like you're using the most luxurious lotion for your own skin. So whereas most leather conditioners are a little bit thin and watery and may not have the most pleasant smell, so you want to wash your hands right away. It's just that instinct of, ugh, this is on my hands, I want to get it off. I can tell you when I used this one that I didn't have that feeling. I felt like I had just used some nice hand lotion on my hands when I finished rubbing it into my bag. So just letting you know, I have an entire kit over there in that corner. So whenever you see that in the videos, know that that 3 stacked tray system is my cleaning kit for my handbags. So anyway, back to this handbag. So after you give your cleaning, well, after you've given the cleaning its own chance to dry into the leather, you apply this lovely lotion, and you don't want to put it on too thick. Similar to how you put your own skincare on or skin lotion, you don't want to overload it and clog your pores. And while you're not really chancing getting pimples on your handbags from putting too much lotion on, what you will do is put it on so thick that even when you buff it, you're going to still feel tackiness. So you can always reapply the conditioner if you've conditioned it, let it dry for 24 hours-ish, and then buffed it, and you still see some areas that look like they need some help with dryness. You can go back in and repeat the process. It's no problem there. So I conditioned it, I buffed it, and now a lot of those scuffs, scratches, marks from the bottom are gone. They're gone from the front and the back, and this is an area that's often scratched because of lifting and then getting to the zipper, and that I have also taken care of. For the interior, this linen lining, I went in with a cotton swab soaked in alcohol and just rubbed it back and forth on the fabric itself, not to touch the leather because that would dry the leather back out again. So the other thing I'm working on with this bag is giving the sides their structure back, because my preferred look for a well-worn puzzle is to have a slouchy top but solid sides. And it does give in the back. The shape of the puzzle allows it to slouch in a really cool way without having to squish the sides. So I do have a lot of stuffing. I've actually filmed this once before. The stuffing is on the floor where I threw it. But when it's being stored, because I'm not using it, I have it full to the brim with the packing paper so that we can get some of the structure back, because I think it was stored just standing upright without any stuffing in it, which has caused the sides to collapse. The only thing I was not able to get off of this that, besides the slouchiness, makes it look like a used bag as opposed to a brand new one, is this tiny white mark here. And what I love about having some of my tools from the gecko trade is that I can tell easily, without having to just rely on my own vision, is this something that is dug into the leather or scratched out of the leather, or is it surface dirt? Because I don't want to keep going at it if it's a scratch. I'm only going to make it worse. So this is clamped on, which I don't think you can see the bottom of the clamp, but it's clamped onto my gecko cart. I actually use this cart to move around my office or my cloffice and feed and take care of the geckos. And the reason I got this is because with gecko shed, they shed about once a month, depending on their age. The babies shed more often than the adults. If they don't get all of the shed off of their own toes or the tip of their tail, it can lead to that digit or the end of the tail popping off. Because what happens is the stuck shed, is what we call it, the dead skin that did not come all the way off, it will pinch off blood flow to that digit, and eventually it will die and pop off. And geckos can't tell you that they're in pain. You might not even notice differences in behavior. They may walk around less if their toes are hurting, so that may lead them to eat less food, which again, not healthy for them. They would lose weight. So something you have to watch out for them on their behalf. So this really great magnifying lamp has come in so handy, especially because even though I got LASIK at age 37, your eyes do get tired of focusing on really minute details. And so pretty much everybody ends up in readers. So if you're younger and you're watching what's in my bag and you're hearing women say, well, I need to have my readers with me, especially if I'm going somewhere where I need to read price tags, ingredients, or menu items. You may think that's kind of silly, but don't laugh too hard. You're probably going to end up there yourself, unless advances in medical science will bring us bionic eyeballs or something. But until then, don't tease your elders. We have problems seeing. So not only do I have this, but before I invested in this, I invested in a lighted jeweler's loop. And so what this is extreme magnification for a very small area, and it does have little lights. So this is fabulous for, on the gecko side, checking to see if a gecko might be male before it's mature enough to show outward appearances. They get a little line of pores above their vent, which is down here on them. And if those pores show up and if the scales around them are triangular, even if you're not seeing pores yet, then that could be a male. Sorry, I just had to check and make sure my mic is on because I don't want to record this a third time. Going back to handbags, this is even more magnification than the big one. So when you're not sure what you're seeing here, you can grab this little guy and get a very detailed close-up. After the conditioner, I've mentioned buffing a few times, but I haven't really told you how to do it. So after about 24 hours or more, letting this conditioner soak in, you have to bite the bullet and actually put a brush to the leather. Now, when I first started doing this, I had a mentor and she convinced me that it was safe to do because the first bags I was using it on were very smooth leather, no graining, the type where you breathe on it and a scratch shows up. So I was like, oh no, are you sure? And she goes, just do it. And this buffing the conditioner off, or the excess conditioner off, is a game changer. Your bag will feel brand new again. So here's what it looks like. It's scary the first time you do it or see someone else do it or have to do it to your own bag, but just give it a good buffing. And when you've buffed everywhere, you can tell where you've missed because the bag will still be a little tacky from the leftover conditioner that's sitting heavy there. So you can just keep going with the buffing until you get all that feeling off. What else do I want to tell you today? If you are a fan of the brand Loewe and you want to see some really rare or older unique pieces, that's what I've been hunting lately, or was hunting before I got notified my job is going away in 30 days. So I do have 2 unboxings coming that are very unique, very exciting. The first of which is kind of reminds me of the new Amazona 180, where it has a rounded rectangular top and kind of, I think it gets a little wider at the bottom. So it's like a rounded trapezoid shape. And that first unboxing will be similar to that in my mind anyway. I see shared characteristics there. I also want to show you my bag of the day. So this little guy is, let me stick the stuffing back in and zip it so it presents itself nicely. This is the Bottega Baby Solstice, and it is an absolutely fabulous shoulder carry. If you don't carry the kitchen sink, this fits more than you would think it does, and with it being lambskin, as I'm wearing it, it's molding to my body and taking on the shape of the body, as well as allowing more things to be put inside without causing any weird bumping or misshaping of the bag itself. So lambskin intrecciato weave. We have these knot details similar to the Andiamo line. And then I've put on an Hermes Twilly, which I'm actually hunting for a second one of these because I have some more exciting unboxings coming from Hermes that are 2-handled bags. And this is my favorite color palette out of all of my Twillies. It's got blues and peaches and pinks and dark purples and yellows. It's just fabulous. So if anybody sees this Twilly, and I'll come around here and give you the bottom where you can see the brand, so it makes it a little bit more recognizable, but it's got a stag, butterflies, there's even, let's see if I can show you bunnies, birds. It's just gorgeous. I love these colors. So if anybody sees another one of these, please let me know. I am very much looking for a second one. And this is for Maggie Chu. It passes your elbow test very easily. And then it stays on. This beautiful rolled handle is so comfortable. And even if you have what Caleb Snell calls sad sloping shoulders, I think this bag could still work for you because it just sits in that spot, that indent between this shoulder bone here. God, I don't know my anatomy. But this part of your shoulder that comes back up a bit, and then your trap here. And so I have a nice little divot right there. And if you do try this on before buying it and you're worried that it's gonna fall off your shoulder, make sure you pack it with your stuff. At the very least, put your cell phone in it, which it does fit lots of cell phones of various sizes because it's big enough. If you don't have it filled up, it can easily fall off your shoulder. Okay, so not super easily, but more easily than when you have it filled. And this is partially most likely because I've been wearing it a lot. So I bought this for my 46th birthday and I felt like I couldn't live without it. I did try several weeks to not get it. I had it brought into the San Diego store by my fabulous SA. And I tried it on there and I tried to talk myself out of it because I didn't want to keep spending so much money at that time. But I couldn't sleep. I just had to have it. And I felt like with my experience buying pre-loved items, it's possible that this would not be a popular color. Maybe not as many would be produced because it's not a neutral, so it doesn't appeal to the masses. But after buying it, I would say maybe 2 months later, it was on the RealReal for way less than I paid, and I kicked myself. But I feel like it was a good decision to have one in-boutique experience buying a handbag, and I had to do it with my SA at Bottega because the very first time I met her, she showed me around the shop, she gave me champagne, she made me feel incredibly special. And I know that that's what people talk about when they talk about the boutique experience, but I didn't buy anything from her that time. But I knew if I was ever gonna buy something new from Bottega, I had to do it with her. So this is what I chose for my 46th birthday present to myself. and I had them put on these little initial tiles. And what they are is essentially like a money clip. So the functionality is they find slots, and there are specific ones based on the construction of the bags. So intrecciato weave is not simply a bunch of separate pieces of leather being woven through each other. This bag is a bag, and then it has slits to weave another set of leather through. So what that means is not every spot in between the rows, I guess is a good way to put it, is separate from the bag. Some of it is part of the bag body itself, so you can only slip it in certain places. And one time when I went in asking about the initials, because they actually had to order me new initials, they didn't have mine in stock, or in the store rather. So I came in and my SA was not in yet. I was there too early. And so I talked to a different SA, and I was talking to him about the placement because I had cut little squares of paper to be the size of these, and I was placing them all over the bag and taking photos and thinking of when I wear it, where will they sit? And I really wanted to put them up here. I thought this looked really nice with my arm down, or if I'm holding the strap like I sometimes do, you can still kind of see it. So luckily, when my letters came in, my sales associate was available. I made an appointment with her, and she said, absolutely, we're not required to put the letters down here like the last sales associate told you. They typically do that for the Jody. I'm not sure if that's something that they suggest to customers or customers choose for themselves, but I knew I wanted them up here. So when that first sales associate that wasn't the one that I work with told me, well, sorry, we only put them down on the bottom, I was disappointed and wish I had known that information before buying the bag, because I had always envisioned it with my initials. But when I did work with my sales associate, she said, oh, that's no problem at all. I can put them wherever you like as long as they slot into the spots you've chosen. So that's another thing I can recommend if you want to spend some time at home before you go in to get initials. Take your bag, take little squares of paper, and you just cut them to the size of one of the squares that shows up in the intrecciato weave. It's the same size as the tile, and lay it down on the ones where you know from the top down you can get in there. So like this next one, I can't get in there. That's part of the bag body, but I can get in here. This is one of the extra strips that's woven in. So a little bit of backstory on those tiles in case anyone's curious. This one has a zip top. Let me get the handle out of the way. Zip top with a very smooth zipper and a nice long zipper pull, unlike the Jody, which is very hard to zip. And you have a suede interior. And this is just such a luxurious bag. I'm so happy to have it. And I think lots of my friends here on YouTube who love simple shoulder bags that pass Maggie Chu's elbow test will love this one. And I've been recommending it, but now I can recommend it with video and an explanation as to why I think it's so great. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe. Stay tuned for future Loewe unboxings that are very rare and unique, as well as other things that are unique. I have crazy things in this closet to show you. I'm just going to preview this real quick. This is my peekaboo, and yes, that is crocodile that you see on there and not the belly scales. I will tell you the technical term for these scales in a future video when I talk about this all by itself. But the bag itself is python with metallic splatter paint and then a giant crocodile patch on the front. This is a really cool mini peekaboo. That's all I have for you today. I really hope you hang out with me in the future in my other videos. I've been shooting a lot of videos lately, so if this interested you and you don't want to wait for my next video to come up, which should be tomorrow, you will like my other older videos, I believe. So please check those out. Please feel free to reach out to me via DM on Instagram, comments here in this video or any of my other videos. I check them constantly as a new YouTuber. I don't get that many comments, and I try to respond right away. And I've been having really wonderful conversations with you all. So I hope that continues, and I hope you all take care and have a great day. Bye.